Good evening, Yankees Nation. This is Ken, and you are here on the with Yankees: The Ugly Truth. Today, we're going to have an open panel, and we're going to discuss some of the events that have happened today. We'll give people a few minutes to show up before we start chatting about everything that's going on. Welcome, Jonathan, Susan, Nancy, Jake, and whoever else may be sitting in the background. If you haven't, please hit the like button and share the channel out. And if you are not subscribed, consider becoming a member of Yankees The Ugly Truth family. Well, we are going to go over that news here shortly, Nancy. Is the mic volume okay? Can everyone hear me just fine? Hey, Wendy. All right, most appreciated. We're going to go over some important baseball dates. As you know, today was the day that qualifying offers had to be either accepted or turned down. Hey, Ronald, welcome to the stream. And there were four people who accepted qualifying offers. Shota Imanaga of the Cubs took his 1 year deal. Trent Grisham of the Yankees took his 1 year deal. Brandon Woodruff of the Brewers took his 1 year deal. Hey, NFE, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. And it does not come to me off the top of my head who the fourth person to accept the qualifying offer was. However, there's a lot of talk, discourse, upset people that the fact that Trent Grisham Gleyber Torres. That's right, Susan. Thank you. So once again, Gleyber will be playing on another 1 year deal, but he took a $7 million pay raise to do it. Was he going to end up making more than $15 million on any contract? Not sure. Probably in his best interest. He likes the Tigers, played well there, so good for him. A lot of people anticipated that Trent Grisham was going to turn down the QO, and I wasn't one of those people. I thought that he was going to accept it, and the reasons that I thought that is this year was the first year that he actually got to be pretty much an everyday starter. As an everyday starter in the Bronx, his offensive numbers were pretty decent. Okay, address a comment by Jake. Grisham accepting, here, I'll just put it up on the screen. Grisham accepting is going to hinder their spending, going to run out a similar roster to last year. Well, who did you think they were spending money on? Did you think that Kyle Tucker was going to be a New York Yankee? All right. And if Kyle Tucker was brought in, he would hinder everybody else's spending efforts for everyone else that we would try or need to acquire. Right now, the way I see it, the Yankees had 4 open slots for bullpen arms. We filled one of them with the acquisition or the re-signing of Yarbrough. My opinion, it was a good sign. 1 year deal, not a lot of money, and he's a versatile arm that can either be a spot starter or come out of the bullpen. So that leaves 3 bullpen slots that we have to fill. We had 2 outfield slots that we needed to fill, with Grisham and Bellinger being free agents. Grisham taking one of the outfield slots. And I believe that the Yankees were in earnest going to give Spencer Jones all opportunity to win the outfield spot for the Major League roster. Okay. So the only questions that leaves is possibly a right-handed hitting backup catcher and potentially a first baseman. So I'm not sure, and one starting pitcher. Susan Grisham could be traded, but I think the way that the QO rules are written, he can't be traded before June the 15th. So he is going to be one of your outfielders. All right, another Jake question. Do you think it was a good decision by Cashman to even extend the offer? Grisham isn't the same level as Tucker, and now it's possible that Jones and Dominguez are going to be blocked. Well, I don't feel that Jones is going to be blocked. I think that Jones is a plus out. I know that Jones is a plus outfielder from all the scouting reports that I've seen, and I can see that he could play left field also. So I don't think that he's going to be blocked, and I don't think that Jason Dominguez has a future as a New York Yankee. I believe that he is going to get moved this offseason. Hey, John the Beagle Dad, appreciate you being here. So was it a good decision? I'm not in a position to judge that one way or another. It was a safety net, and somebody took it, and he took it. And I mean, you have to look at the aspects of Trent Grisham. Trent Grisham had his opportunity to start in with the New York Yankees, and frankly, he had two exciting seasons here in the Bronx. Why wouldn't he want to come back and be a Yankee? Some of the other things. All right, Jake. I tell you what, I'm just going to drop a link and you can come up and talk. This is an open panel, and obviously you have a lot to say, so come say it. Some of the other things that I wanted to talk about was 40-man roster. The Yankees had several players that are eligible for the Rule 5. Manuel Palencia, who is a catcher, infielders TJ Rumsfeld, outfielder Spencer Jones, pitchers Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, Brendan Beck, Chase Hampton, Brock Selvage, Alan Fasuccio, and Henry Lulane, Eric Razelman, and Harrison Cohen. The people that were added to the 40-man roster today were Spencer Jones, Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, and Chase Hampton. Currently, the 40-man roster is set. Hey, Celia, how you doing? Currently, the 40-man roster is set at 38 people, so we have 2 slots available to protect more Rule 5 players. All right. And we have Jonathan here. I'm waiting, Jake.
Yeah, I don't think this is the final roster before the Rule 5 draft, but I'm very surprised Lalani is not on the roster. I thought he was almost a sure fit protecting. I still have my list that I went over with Jason when I did his stream,
Uh-huh.
but it had the same players you just mentioned, Harrison Cohen, uh, and I don't remember who else you mentioned because I was on, but I think the Yankees will be doing a bunch of trades before the December Rule 5 draft. It would be smart of them to do some of those trades as well.
All right. I'm going to address a comment by Celia. Ken, honestly, I think it's a lose either way because if we bring Bellinger back somehow, you're going to have the same outfield. I don't believe that the outfield is good enough. Well, that outfield that you don't think is good enough had 3 of the top 10 outfield offensive hitters in baseball. That's pretty good. And the defense speaks for itself.
Well, here's the one thing about what bringing back Bellinger. If you bring him back with Grisham now on the roster, the only way you can play him and Bellinger and Jones, for that matter, is if Bellinger goes to first base. You have a crowded outfielder. Well, right now, you have at least 5 outfielders for 3 spots, and if you move Bellinger to first base, you have another spot there. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bellinger plays first base more often this year than he did last year, if he comes back.
Honestly, if he comes back, if he doesn't come back, I don't care one way or another. I think that there are players out there. I'm comfortable with Grisham, Jones, and Judge in the outfield.
Yeah, and
Yes, Susan. Jonathan or Rice could catch, and Belly could be our first baseman every day.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and it
hey,
wouldn't
Jason,
surprise.
welcome to the stream.
Another thing that wouldn't surprise me is if Rice gets packaged in a trade. That would not surprise me.
I think that what we're looking at is a situation where the Yankees could actually make good adjustments. Uh, the Brendan Donovan coming up for trade, being actually available for trade, is a good thing. If we were to make a trade to pull him in, he is a contact bat. He has got positional versatility where he plays basically second, third, and short, and can play either outfield slots. And I was looking at a highlight reel of him for 2024 where he did an incredible job playing left field. All right, let's see.
According to what I was just sent by a friend of mine, if a player accepts a qualifying offer, they cannot. They basically have a no trade clause with that offer. They can't be traded.
I thought it was before June the 5th. They couldn't be traded before June the 15th.
Maybe it's June the 15th, but what my friend mentioned to me is it might not be fully accurate. I know I believe it's June, like you said, June 15th. So look, it would not surprise me if Grisham does get traded at the deadline. That's another possibility. But I could also see guys like Dominguez traded, because right now the outfield is crowded. If Dominguez can bring back a piece that we need for this year, why not trade him?
Well, I honestly think that Dominguez is on the trade block. I think that Luis Hill is on the trade block, and I think that Will Warren are all on the trade block. I think that people need to seriously pay attention to the possibility of the Yankees bringing in at least one of these Japanese players.
Yeah,
And Tatsui Imai is the one that I think that the Yankees are going to pull the strings on to bring him in.
I I would like Okamoto as well. Those two guys. The Yankees have been lacking in the Japanese market since they let Tanaka leave, which probably wasn't a good idea if they wanted another Japanese player. The smarter thing would have been to re-sign Tanaka for a few more years and wait until they could try to get another Japanese player before letting him go. But the Japanese market doesn't seem very to want to come to New York in recent years.
Yep. So yeah, I'm not sure where you're pulling your fingers or figures at for the what the Yankees have to spend at this point. Uh, right now, I don't honestly believe they have an idea because we're coming up on a non-tender deadline, and there are players that are on that I suspect are going to get non-tendered. The candidates that we have right now are Jake Bird, Jake Cousins, Scott Efros, Ian Hamilton, Mark Leiter Jr., and Clark Schmidt.
Yeah, I could see at least three of them being non-tendered, if not all of them.
I
But
think
I
that
but I believe Schmidt will come back, even though he could get non-tendered. I think Schmidt is going to be on the team next year, although he's not going to pitch.
I suspect that Jake Cousins, Scott Efros, Ian Hamilton, and Mark Leiter are all going to be non-tendered. Yes, Clark Schmidt is on the IL and not anticipated to return until late August, if
Yeah,
he returns at all. And he is locked in at roughly about a $5 million contract. So I could very easily see uh, Clark Schmidt being non tendered because, frankly, he has just gone through his second Tommy John surgery. Uh, most every other pitcher, with the exception of Otani, that has gone under two Tommy John surgeries no longer start. They come out of the bullpen. I don't think that Clark Schmidt stuff really interprets well coming out of the bullpen, and it's $5 million. Right now, with Grisham accepting the qualifying offer before the arbitration figure, the players we have going up for ARB have figured. The Yankees payroll is at 246 million and change.
Jake Bird. I don't know what Mr. Met is saying. Any player that is still, I
And,
thought any
any, any,
players that are
any player who is in arbitration can be non-tendered.
yes.
Jake Bird is going into ARB, so he can be non-tendered.
Yes. 20 they have he can be non-tendered every year until 2028.
Did Michael King have two Tommy Johns? No, he did not. He has one.
One. So
I mean, there's room to adjust one way or another and make the acquisitions. Like I said, I think that the Yankees are going to be heavily into the into the Japanese market. And there is a guy who looks like he's going to be posted from the KBO, Sung Mun,
Yeah.
that has potential. He's a solid contact hitter, a little bit of speed and positional versatility.
Yeah. I could also see some of these other guys. There were a bunch of other guys they left off the roster from the Rule 5 draft, and
Yep.
I could see them returning before the December winter meetings.
Well, like I said, right now we have 2 open roster spots. We're at 38 on the MLB roster. With a non-tendering of Leiter, he will open up another 40-man roster slot. Any trades that we pull off will open up roster slots, and I believe that the Yankees are going to be heavily into the trade market because right now, if you look at IFA money, we are sitting in the bottom pool. The top pool is at 8 million, and we have 5.4 million to play with. There are 4 teams that are in our competitive bracket, and that's the Astros, the Mets, and the Giants. I think that the Yankees.
That's another reason why I think some of these players, instead of losing them in the Rule 5 draft for $50,000, you can trade them for IFA money. Probably get back more than $50,000 in IFA money.
Yeah, that's my bet too, and that's why I think they didn't add everybody to the roster at this point is because they are shopping players that have potential. And Lou, to answer your question, Grisham did accept the qualifying offer.
Yeah. He got a massive pay raise from last year.
Yep, $17 million pay raise from last year.
Although I think that if he went on the free agent market, I think he probably could have gotten between 70 and 100 million from someone.
So what does that tell you?
It tells me that Grisham didn't think there was a market for him.
Okay. You know what it tells me?
Tell me.
He's betting on himself.
Yes, he's betting on himself.
Because he has been offered a qualifying offer. He cannot be offered another one next year. So if he walks from the Yankees into free agency, he has nothing tying him down. So there will be no teams that will be restricted from selecting him next year.
But
if he comes up with a season similar to what he had this year, he's done what they call the Judge Gamut. Yankees offered Judge a pretty decent contract, and he turned it down and he bet on himself. Well, he ended up making over $100 million more betting on himself because of the season that he had.
if Grisham can repeat the season he had this year, next year, he's probably going to get 120 to 150 million dollars.
Could be. But I didn't think that if Grisham walked in free agency this year, he was going to pick up any more than a 3-year deal.
No, I was always thinking he would probably get 3 years between 60 and 80 million.
So he's staying in a place that he loves to play in, that he's done well, has given an opportunity to be basically an everyday starter. And long and short, he was a plus for the Yankees. Didn't do Jack Beano's in the postseason like most of the roster, including Stanton, Bellinger, Grisham.
Look, another option the Yankees have if Grisham is having a good year, and you think they could trade him at the deadline and call up a guy like Jones if they're both playing well.
Certainly a possibility.
So I think that's another that could be a benefit as well. Because if you have Grisham, say, let's say through the end of July, hitting, let's say, 265 with 19 home runs, solid defense, and you have Jones in AAA just mashing it up like he did in the first half of last year, hitting over 320 with 13 home runs, with an on base above 400, and you want to call him up, that there may be a deal for trading Grisham.
If you look at bullpen arms that are out there that are available and possible trade candidates, who are you looking at? Who'd you like to see come in?
Trade pieces?
Yeah.
Bullpen arms. That would be something I would have to think about in terms of trading. It also depends on what can I trade, because if I'm trading from this list here, there can be a lot of value bought back in it. I would definitely want young, controllable arms for my top players, but I'll have to look that up.
Okay. All right. Felix Nunez, welcome to the stream, brother. Appreciate you being here. Let's say Grisham gives you a 235 again, but with 20 homers instead of 34. All right. What are you asking? Am I satisfied with that deal?
I guess if you're satisfied with those numbers, assuming.
I can live with him so long as his defense stays on par, because part of the way that the Yankees have been built part of the way that the Yankees have been built is the ability to eliminate the opponent's opportunity to score runs. Grisham is part of that picture, and if we bring Jones in and say play him in left field, he has elite speed that compares to Ellie De La Cruz. So he covers a lot of ground, and throughout the scouting process has been rated as a plus/elite defender. Lou, I am not sure that Belly is out. They could definitely bring him back to play first base for the Yankees and spot in the outfield. He is a talented, athletic player that can play both sides of the ball, outfield or infield. Tucker, I don't think was ever a realistic option for coming on board the Yankees. Some of the low ball figures right now is 36 mil for 10 years, $360 million contract. I've seen 42 mil AAV for up to 420 mil.
So, would you take a chance on a guy like Kyle Finnegan for the bullpen?
Sure.
Because I'm sure he's not attached to a qualifying offer.
No, I seriously doubt it.
No, I think he was ineligible even to get one because he was traded during the year.
Yep, he does not have a QO. Grisham's defense was below zone last year, Eric. Yes, I understand that he was below zone. He also was playing with a hamstring injury last season too. That pretty much from July on he had.
Well, that's another thing that I want the Yankees to do better on is identifying the injured players and n- resting them or ILing them before their injury gets worse.
Alonzo, that's a great question, Susan. I think
Alonso,
that he I
yeah,
think that he is well over being a Met, so I do not think that he will return there. Uh, the market for Alonzo with Naylor off the board, I think is going to be pretty wide open for teams needing a first baseman.
yeah. I'm looking at all the Nick Martinez, Edwin Diaz, uh, David Robertson still is, Robert Suarez, a free agent, Gregory Soto is a free agent. Is Pete Fairbanks still a free agent?
Yes, he is.
Now he's a player that I would like to try to bring in as he didn't get a qualifying offer, no.
No,
So I think Pete Fairbanks is someone that I would try to get in. I like him as an option out of the bullpen. That is probably my top relief pitcher target, Pete Fairbanks.
there are a couple of pitchers that I think I would consider trading for. Reed Detmer off the Angels would be one.
Yes.
The the other pitcher that I wanted from the Rockies this year, Seth Halverson, would be one that I would give serious consideration to trading for. Uh,
Do you think Jake Bird is a positive on this, or could he be another DFA candidate?
I do not think that Bird is going to be DFA'd there or non-tendered. We've got 3 years of control on him. When we traded for him from the Rockies, he was worn out. Plus, pitching most of his uh, career in Colorado, where breaking balls really don't work, he had to overthrow. And when he came to New York, he was overthrown and couldn't find the strike zone uh, to save his butt with two hands. I think time off during the off season, plus apparently he developed another pitch. I don't remember what it is, uh, but apparently he was very effective with it in at Scranton. So I could definitely see him making the major league roster next year out of the bullpen. And let's see.
Airbacks can't pitch in cold weather.
Yeah, he has a disease, something with his ability to grip a ball. It's very uncommon, but he's been diagnosed with it. Uh,
So that means that takes a bunch of teams out of contention. He
yep.
can't go to Milwaukee. He can't go well, Toronto is indoors. Seattle also has indoor a dome that closes, I think. Uh, I mean, I would like a guy like Fairbanks, but if he has problems pitching then maybe that's not a good idea.
Yep. Let's see. Bullpen arms.
Yeah, they had Taylor Rogers, Paul Blackburn, Kyle Finnegan, Paul Sewald, Emilio Pagan is out there, Kirby Yates.
There was one player that I was interested in from the Orioles who was traded to the Blue Jays, and he is a free agent now. Sir Anthony Dominguez.
Yeah.
He's one that I'd be interested in taking a look at.
What about Gregory Soto?
He's another one. Another one that I may be interested in looking at is Steven Matz on a short-term deal. He has the ability to be a spot starter and long relief out of the pen, and that's something that I think that we need to address. Another interesting guy to look at is Taylor Rogers.
Taylor Rogers, is he also a free agent?
He is.
Yeah,
And he pitches out of the similar arm slot to Tim Hill.
yeah, he's also 35 years old, so you could probably get him for maybe a short-term deal, like 2 years, maybe even 1 year with an option.
Cruz. I believe that Ahmed Rosario will be back as a Yankee this year. I like his energy.
Yes, he's not going anywhere. They traded for him.
Yeah, but he's a free agent now.
No.
And for those of you that are here, if you haven't, please hit the like button, share the channel out, and if you're not a member of the Yankees The Ugly Truth family, please consider subscribing. So there are moves to be made, and I don't think our payroll is inhibited by the Grisham accepting the QO. We just have to manage our money a bit wiser, and there is a team that can be put together that is a World Series championship caliber team. We just have to find those pieces, those diamonds that are out there.
Yeah.
For me, the first and foremost thing that we need to do is fortify the bullpen. And if we bring in a starter, it's got to be somebody who can contribute, at least 6 to 7 innings. Yep, I agree, Cruz. Williams and Weaver are not coming back.
No.
And Weaver's put out that he's willing to go back to being a starter. So that opens his market up a bit.
Another guy that's interesting would be Randall Grisham. But he's a right fielder? No, he's not a pitcher.
No, Grichuk is an outfielder.
Yeah, I must have clicked on his name and said RF instead of RP. That's why I got confused.
Yep. Mets are interested in Williams. They're interested in Bellinger. So Citi Field is looking to become the reclamation place for all ex-New York Yankees.
Well, Griffin Canning is also a free agent. Yep. He played with the Mets just last year.
Danny Jansen, sure, as a right-handed hitting catcher, definitely an option. Cruz.
I would try to get Jansen. I think he would be a good option, and he would also help Wells.
If uh, if you aren't aware, apparently before Friday, the Texas Rangers are looking at trying to move
I heard
Adrolis Garcia and Jonah Heim.
that.
And Jonah Heim is an interesting look at possibly being a backup catcher for Wells.
I'm not sure if they make a trade like that. How much? If I get a backup catcher, I'd rather just sign Jansen to a 1 year deal, or even Rio Muto.
Do I take a flyer on Senga if the Mets trade him? That's a great question. I think that he was hurt this past year, and it's not indicative of how he actually is as a pitcher. And I would definitely consider that one. And I'm going to drop the link one more time. Anybody who wants to come up, please feel free to do so. We can talk some baseball. And if you haven't, please hit the like button and share the channel out. And if you're not a member of the Yankees The Ugly Truth family.
So, what other moves do you see the Yankees doing?
Up front, as soon as Imanaga is posted, is that tomorrow?
Yes, both Japanese pitchers are posted tomorrow.
So, hence, I think that we've had our feelers out and we've been scouting them for a while.
Imanaga is MI.
I mean, excuse me. Ugh.
And Okamoto.
Okamoto.
Both those players are posted tomorrow.
Mr. Met, do you know what his contract is right now?
What Nomo?
No, Senga. Kodai Senga.
Kodai Senga?
Yeah, I dropped a short earlier this week on MI, and generically, I think he looks like a great pitcher. The pitcher, not picture. I like what he brings to the table. The only concerns that I had with regard to him was his height. Him being listed as 5'11", I think he's closer to 5'10".
Kodai Senga signed a 5-year, $75 million. He's making $15 million a year.
Okay.
And he has a club option in 2028.
So it's a short-term deal, not overly expensive. Has pitched in New York. So I don't see that as a downside.
He also, he had a 10-team no-trade list. And I don't know who those 10 teams are.
Yep. All right. And for programming notes, on Thursday at 8 p.m. on this channel, I will be calling a play-by-play for a vintage baseball game. It is going to be the 1977 Game 6 World Series, Dodgers versus the Yankees.
Is that the Jackson 3 home run game?
It is. Let's see. Welcome to the stream, NTA.
Well, I guess you can after that game you can say that you announced it of Thurman Munson.
I will have. I recommend hopping on and listen to a little bit of baseball. It's been a while since we've had a play-by-play, and this is a classic game for the Yankees. And if you weren't alive to see it, it's one that you should watch. Plus, the other caveat is while I'm doing the play-by-play for the game, I will also be streaming the actual game footage.
Well, I wasn't alive to see it live, but I have seen it on replay when the Yes Network used to do a lot more of the old of Yankees history. They every couple back when Yes was brand new or fairly new, they used to have games show old games more often than they do now. So I've seen, and I do miss the old announcers, Phil Rizzuto, guys like him. The old announcers were much. I enjoyed guys like Phil Rizzuto and Bobby Mercer, and even I liked Mel Allen the way he did it compared to what they're doing now.
Well, as you know, I am not a huge Michael Kay fan. So,
well, I'm just saying, back 20 to 50 years ago, they well, I think Phil Rizzuto retired after 96, so it's been 30 to 50 years ago.
Kitty Cat and Singleton.
Yeah, they called games much differently and much more pleasantly than they do now. I don't like. I'm not a big fan of Michael Kay.
Nope. If I was in charge of them, I would have fired his butt years ago.
Yeah, and I think John Sterling was also not the best guy to listen to on the radio.
I don't think he was a very nice person in general.
I wouldn't know. I know one person that known him personally, and I never asked her about it.
So what do you feel are the needs that we have to address up front for the Yankees in this off season?
Well, I still would like them to fill the needs, getting more on base players. I think this team currently constructed strikes out too much. I would like. I don't know with Grisham. Before today, I would have liked a leadoff hitter, but with Grisham, I don't know if you necessarily need that anymore. I would probably think another starting pitcher, which in my could solve, or he could be a bullpen piece. So there's probably 3 or 4 places that the Yankees need to improve.
Do you think that the Yankees should go after Terry Skubal?
I wouldn't. But if I were making a trade like that, I would prefer to go after Paul Skeens.
Yeah, but he's not available.
I know he's not available. I just don't like the Yankees trading for not. He had Skubal has 1 more year left on his contract. If he had 2 years, I would say yes. 1 year, if they can get him for a good price and not being oversold, I'd look at it seriously. but it will all depend on what they will have to give up, really.
Well, what would you be willing to give up to bring him in for a year?
A year?
And do you think that adding Scooble could put the Yankees over the top for another run at the World Series?
I don't know, because the Yankees' problem last year wasn't necessarily their starting pitching. It was more that they couldn't hit when they needed a hit. So I'm not sure if Scooble is the answer. Only Scooble is the answer to give you a World Series run. They need probably two contact hitting bats and people who can hit with runners in scoring position. Scooble doesn't solve that.
In this past offseason or postseason against the Toronto Blue Jays, we had three starters that went up that did not make it out of the third inning.
Yeah.
So starting pitching was a problem. And starting pitching was a problem throughout the year because the lack of innings that we were getting out of our starters led to us going and relying very heavily on the bullpen, which, in my opinion, wore the bullpen out. That's
Yeah.
why Luke Weaver was so ineffective.
So look, as I said, I'm not against getting a guy like Scooble. It all depends on the trade.
So, what are the other pieces that you need to add?
Well, for a guy like Scooble, I'm sure in a Scooble trade, you're probably going to have to trade a guy like Chase Hampton. Maybe they're gonna want top ready players. Hampton, Cruz, maybe Will Warren, pieces like that. And I don't know if I want to trade so much, but for 1 year, it's gonna be a very hard. If they make a trade like that, it's gonna hurt in the short term, maybe in the long term. But we will have to see what they would give up. What would you want? What would you give up in that trade?
If I was looking for a 1 year deal with Scooble, I would be either willing to give up Luis Hill or Will Warren as a starter to fill the slot. I would also consider giving him one of our upper upper pitchers like a Ben Hess, and they need and Jason Dominguez.
Yeah. I've always said since the start of the season, I think Dominguez will get traded at some point. I am 95% sure that Dominguez is gonna get traded. What that trade, I wouldn't be surprised. Like you said, it's for a starting pitcher, because the Yankees are gonna have trouble next year with that. So maybe that works.
Okay, you said we need contact bats. What
Yeah.
contact bats are you looking at?
Well, I would look at Okamoto for one.
Okay,
He's he played positions that we need help with. I believe he's an infielder.
infielder and a left fielder.
Yeah, so he
First,
could
third,
play
first, third, and left.
first base and left field.
First, third, and left. Yeah,
First, third, and left. So he's a very similar guy to uh, Bellinger.
yeah.
So if we got Okamoto and we let Bellinger walk, we basically have his replacement.
Okay.
And recently, there has been a lot of success with Japanese bats in the major league. So I think adding a guy like Okamoto could help in that problem that we were having in the playoffs, where we couldn't hit. Along with, I honestly think Yarbo will be a long man out of the bullpen. If you have if you have a starter going 2 or 3 innings, you're going to go straight to Yarbo to give you another three innings.
Chocolate Donovan. Donovan has been my prize for over 2 seasons. Uh, Jason from 161 River Ave and I have been talking about him for years.
Donovan
And
is also a second baseman.
second baseman, shortstop, third baseman, left fielder.
Now the question is, if you are getting Donovan, and they ask for Volpe in that trade, would you do it?
Would I do it? Sure. But I don't see them asking for an injured shortstop who had a really bad year last year.
Yeah.
Volpe has controllability. He may be interested. However, they have a very talented shortstop there, Mason Wynn, who is fielding shortstop and has done very well. Donovan played a lot of second base for the Cardinals. And
So what does the Cardinals need in a trade to help
they need
them?
starting pitching.
So they will probably, for Donovan, they will probably want guys similar to Hampton, Reiselman, guys who are in that, maybe Elman Rodriguez Cruz, which I would not trade. Lewis Hill, I would do a Lewis Hill trade in Donovan, but Lewis Hill and who? Who are you? Okay, right now let's put a package together. Lewis Hill plus for Donovan. Who's in your plus?
Eric Reiselman would be one. We would end up getting what, 2 years of control out of Donovan?
Yeah, I don't know his contract. Let me see his contract.
Okay. 2 years of control. The needs that the Cardinals have is starting pitching and bullpen help.
2 years of control, yeah.
They lost their closer with them trading Helsley. Is there a bullpen arm that you'd move? Maybe Jake Bird?
Maybe Jake Bird. Can he close? Maybe maybe a guy, I don't know, maybe a guy like Harrison Cohen. He had a good year last year. He's in AAA.
MTA, where does Donovan play? Donovan also plays left field. And if you don't remember, Jazz played 4 years for the Marlins as a center fielder. And I think that he is definitely athletic enough to adjust to playing left field if the need was there.
Yeah. I think you're going to see a guy like Harrison Cohen getting traded somehow before the Rule 5 job.
Any chance they sign Who, Susan? Who signs him for a bull?
The Yankees,
Cardinal?
the Yankees re-signed Weaver.
From what I've read on the streets, Weaver is looking to come out as a starting pitcher for a. Yeah. What team are you talking about? The Yankees, Susan?
The Yankees designate JJ Bleday. I'm trying to. The thing, here's the other thing. The Yankees right now have a $282 million payroll. So you have to take
280 million based off of what? Is that including projected arbitration figures?
I think that's including projected arbitration.
Okay. Yeah, Susan, I don't see the Yankees bringing him back, especially since he's put out that he's looking at becoming a starter once again.
No, I think Weaver and Williams are gone.
For those of you that are here, if you haven't, please hit the like button and share the channel out. Well, that's the interesting thing, MTA. If you're looking at Jazz's actual natural position isn't second base. He was actually in the Diamondbacks organization as a shortstop. He couldn't break through at the major league level, and that's why he was part of a trade package to the Marlins, which brought the Diamondbacks Zach Gallen,
Yeah,
who was a fragged pitcher in their organization.
and look at what happened with that. I mean,
Okay, Jazz is our second baseman. Grisham is our center fielder. If we get Belly back, he is our left fielder. Okay.
what about
And JT.
Cabrera?
So Donovan in the mix. Does that mean that we say goodbye to Cabrera? I think that's a foregone conclusion in my mind's eye.
Yeah, I think that injury last year, Cabrera had an opportunity. Well, assuming Cabrera didn't get injured, he had an opportunity to cement his place at third base last year. And if he did well throughout the year, he probably could be the starting third baseman next year. But I think with that injury, that destroyed his chances. So going forward, I don't think Cabrera will be anything more than a fourth infielder. Unless, of course, he can prove otherwise in spring training.
And to answer FJ's question, do you think retaining Grisham means they are not going to re-sign Bellinger? I do not.
No, I think they're going to try to re-sign Bellinger, but
to answer your question, MTA, dump Volpe, move Jazz to shortstop, Donovan at second. I'd have no problem with that. And
I think the Yankees love Volpe too much. They don't want to. to move past him. And
Well,
I think they,
the Yankees are smart enough to know that he had surgery on his labrum. When he had his surgery, they said that the damage was far more extensive than the MRI revealed. When they started touting that he was going to be back in May, you haven't really heard much, and I do not think that you'll see him before the All-Star break.
well,
Uh, and with regard to Cabrera, I think when we picked up Jose Caballero, he fills the exact same role and is a better player.
so do you
So
think Opie starts the year on the 60-day IL?
I think he starts it on the IL. Don't know if it'll be the six. Actually, possibly.
Because if as you know, if you're on the 60-day IL, you're not on the 26-man roster.
No, you're not.
You're not even on the 40-man roster.
You're not on the 40 either. That's why I was surprised that they didn't move Johnny Lasagna to the 60-man to open up a 40-man and a 26-man
Yeah.
roster slot.
I have no idea why they didn't do that. And moving him for another pitcher could have saved the bullpen for the playoff with an extra arm there,
Yep.
along with giving a chance to one of these guys who is now a Rule 5 option. For example, Harrison Cohen.
Well, the one that's on there that I'm surprised they didn't protect was T.J. Rumsfeld.
TJ Rumfield.
Yeah.
He's a first and third baseman, and he was on my list of being protected. But I think the problem is they don't have room for him next year. If they sign, especially if they sign Bellinger.
Well, we're a long ways from signing Bellinger at this point. And between Bellinger, Okamoto, and Amai, the thing that scares the crap out of me is they are all represented by Scott Boras. You're right, JT. TJ may be a trade piece.
Yeah. Well, the Yankees have another, I believe, 2 weeks before the Rule 5 draft.
It's the last day of the winter meetings. I'm not sure the date of that.
Rule 5 draft. It will take December 10th.
Okay.
December 10th is the Rule 5 draft. So they have 3 weeks to make decisions and trades between now and December 10th. So I expect multiple moves to be multiple moves. I don't think this is the final roster we're going to see on the December 10th.
No, I don't either.
Because I find it hard to believe the Yankees will not make a trade before then. And I think a bunch of other players that weren't protected today could be protected.
Well, the non-tender deadline is November the 21st, which is Friday.
Okay.
So I think that's going to open up more things for us, be it roster slots.
Yeah.
All right. Susan brings up a interesting question. Do you think the Yankees will keep McMahon, or will look for an upgrade on offense.
I think they will keep him. The Yankees, remember, the Yankees do not want to spend a lot of money this offseason. The Yankees have said they want to lower payroll. McMahon is on the contract for, I believe, one more year
Yep,
at
16 bill.
16 million. So unless they can trade him and get back a third baseman, they're not trading him. And who do they have to play third base? They want to put Cabrera there again. He's the only guy on the current roster who can play third base.
Caballero.
Caballero. I think they got McMahon for his glove and his defense. Yeah, that I agree with the Susan. Hal never want to spend big unless he's forced to. Yes, and that's why I don't see them. I don't see them getting a guy like Tucker.
I mean, a lot of the Yankee universe is projecting doom and gloom for the Yankees. The team that we fielded this past season, was projected doom and gloom. But we had the second best record in baseball. Did not get it done in the postseason.
Yeah, well, I think Okamoto will help with getting a guy like Okamoto will help the Yankees.
Let me see.
No one said the Yankees aren't going to spend. That's just the speculation we have based on what Hal has said. And no one had mentioned the idea of a fully operational Death Star in a couple of years.
It's looking like the projected contract for Okamoto is a 6-year, $130 million deal. Which puts him at close to 21 million.
So, do you think the Yankees do a projected like that and do that?
Not sure. MI's projected is at 16 million AAV.
And do you think Cashman misplayed his hand by giving Grisham the qualifying offer?
Do I think he misplayed it? No, I don't think he did. I think Grisham was. I think Grisham was actually an insurance policy.
An insurance policy.
Well, have you seen the numbers that are ringing about Bellinger?
No.
$37 million AAV for him on a 5-year deal.
Well, I think I in my mind I was thinking more close to the 30.
Well, would you be willing to overpay to bring Bellinger back at 37 mil?
Probably not.
No. Would you actually be willing to pay him 30 mil?
30 million? I think 30 would be the top I would go.
Okay.
In
And
my
if you bring,
mind, in my
if you,
mind, I was thinking Bellinger would get between 27 and 30 AAV.
so then you tie a bulk of your reserve funds in Grisham and Bellinger, 2 players.
And that's not good. But also Grisham is only 1 year.
Yep. All right, guys and gals, we've been on for about an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and shut the stream down. Gigi, nobody says that the Yankees aren't going to spend. I think that they are.
Well, remember one thing before we log off. The only realistic way for the Yankees and any other team to lower payroll while still having a good team is to develop young players that can play in the major leagues. For example, if Dominguez last year
Hey,
had a solid year, hit 290 with 25 home runs, with solid defense, do you think Grisham would have gotten a qualifying offer?
nope.
Exactly. So the only way to realistically lower payroll is to develop solid young players.
Hey, Jacob and Stephen B.
Uh,
Before I sign up, if y'all haven't, please hit the like button, share the channel out, and if you're hopping in late, go back and check the recording out and see what you like. Also, remember, I will be calling the Game 6 uh, Dodgers versus the Yankees 1977 World Series game with uh, with footage of the actual game. So hop in Thursday 8 p.m. and listen to a little bit of baseball. Appreciate y'all being here. I want to thank Jonathan for coming up. And as usual, I'll say, let's go Yankees, and we'll see you in the funny pickers. Have a great night.